Alright, boys and girls, do be sure to share the link. It does help. It lets us be more discoverable on YouTube, and it helps people know this is content that they might find helpful. With that said, let's jump straight into today's event. Guys, it is the Mining Market Signal. My name is Seth, and you're watching Mind Your Biz. Thank you so much for being subscribed, and if you're not already, if you're just lurking, what are you waiting for? Make that button explode, and then click the bell icon, or if you're already subscribed, I hate to make you do this, re-click the bell icon so that you're notified of new media when it comes out. Apparently, several platforms have been playing shenanigans with what you have told them you want to see. Not the least of which, well, we'll say Twitter and this one you're watching right now. We're also available on Odyssey. Have been backing up our videos on Odyssey since 2019, so you can find a link to that down in the description of this video. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the Fear and Greed Index. Today's score is 18, and we're actually up from yesterday's extreme fear score of 15. Got pretty nasty yesterday with the way that the market moved, plummeting towards 40K, possibly breaking through that resistance line that we identified even on this show. We're not even a technical analysis show. We just saw that there is a bit of a psychological barrier at about $40,000 for Bitcoin, and that if we dip below that, it's going to mess some people up, right? Their mental game up as they're moving into this asset class. But right now we've got extreme fear slightly above what it was yesterday. And yeah, let's take a look at that trend. We've been seeing it for the last month, guys. We've been in fear for the last month, but we're now moving into this extreme fear range. And this is where I think things get juicy, where we're going to start seeing value buys, value purchase opportunities. If you saw me on BitBoy Crypto's show around the blockchain yesterday, then you know I made myself very clear. I do believe that there's a potential for Bitcoin to dip very low in the coming corrections. $30,000 Bitcoin is not out of the question, and $15,000 Bitcoin is not out of the question. Peter Schiff may be right on this one, but what it would require is a crisis of faith. And I think that's what this indicator is supposed to show us, is what people are thinking and feeling. This is, after all, just an aggregate of what's happening in the markets. I got Jason Casper in the chat live with a $50 super chat. Oh my gosh. Brother, he says, great content, bro. Glad I discovered you. Good times on Around the Blockchain yesterday. I guess I just have to say the very short amount of time that Jason and I had to spend on camera together, hearing his thoughtful responses to the content lined up by DZ and the crew over at BitBoy Crypto's channel. I can definitely see us doing some collab in the future, and I can definitely endorse from what I've seen of his channel. You guys, if you're here watching right now and you want to find some good no nonsense technical analysis, go check out Jason's channel for sure. Do yourself a favor, check that out. I'll be sure after we're done streaming today to put your channel link in the description of this video. Really we found another real one, guys. That's the funny thing about crypto. Jason and I were musing about this before the show yesterday, that you can be publishing for years in this space, publishing for years and trying to grind out good content on the regular, right? Like absolutely, like working your butt off. And you can still be the best kept secret, right, of crypto. People just don't really know yet. Discovery on this platform is part of the reason that we stay on these centralized platforms, as opposed to just moving entirely over to Odyssey and others. But it can still take some time, right? The algorithm doesn't always give you the love that maybe some people deserve. Let's go ahead and bring that Jason's way, though, if you guys are watching today. All right, guys, moving back into some of our market commentary that we see right now. We're moving towards extreme fear, sort of a channel of extreme fear. And I think that as far as sentiment, just from a fundamental analysis perspective, I think we would have to live here for a while and maybe even have a couple of additional, not a couple, but maybe one additional black swan event a la Kazakhstan to help break sentiment to the downside. And if sentiment, I think, breaks that much to the downside, maybe we do punch through to the downside, and maybe we see more of those value buys. We'll talk more about that when we take a look at the chart. Again, it's like not advanced technical analysis. It's so great to have another resource, guys. Do check out Jason's channel because he gives some very intelligent TA on the matter. We only go over fundamental analysis here, though, and that is governed by sentiment. Guys, without giving you legal, financial, or business advice or any other kind of advice, let me just say that I view this as a counter indicator. If you've been watching the show for a while, you know that I say that when people are going to zig, we got to zag, right? We got to juke around what the market is doing. And so if they're going low in sentiment and feeling fearful, it's time for us to make plans. Not be greedy per se, right? Don't lose your head, but make plans. And when the opposite is happening, the opposite is true. When people are feeling greedy and euphoric, as they were not long ago, and I cautioned you at that time, we need to take profits is what we need to do. Not make plans, but take profits and protect our necks, right? Like, we do not know what's going to happen. You've really got to watch your six during times like that. Fit Fanatic is saying thoughts on Ergo. We have it in our portfolio, and we will do a comprehensive portfolio deep dive. We've got a paper tracker. These are all paper trades. So we do not have skin in the game with this portfolio that I show on stream. But we have been tracking it for a meaningful amount of time, and we also haven't been dollar cost averaging into it. We took a snapshot of these paper trades back in May when the market was correcting. I'll go over our a bit of our methodology when we go there, but yes, we are tracking Ergo very closely because this is primarily a GPU mining show, and Ergo is GPU mineable. So appreciate you asking on about that particular asset. Let's jump out of the way here, guys, and again, go back over to our chart. That's what it's going to take, I think. Jumping back out to the 3-month fear and greed index chart, right? The plot line here. We've been living in fear for over a month, almost 6 weeks, moving on 7 weeks, and if we can live in extreme fear for a time and then have just one more little event push us over the edge, I think we start to see those value buys, and you get the cheapest corn y'all done ever seen in your lives, right? So we'll see, hopefully, fingers crossed. But we always ask, what causes this sentiment? Well, news, unfortunately. Fear, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the FUD cycle, and fear of missing out, the FOMO cycle. And who drives that? Publishers. Well, I guess shows like this too, we do occasionally. But realistically, we're covering what's already happened, a bit like fundamental analysis. We're not really, or technical analysis, we're not trying to predict the future. But people's sentiment is a really strong indication of what they're about to do next. So let's see what actually governed these people's choices. I think top of the list, we got on Cointelegraph, Helen Parts talking about how Bitcoin and Ether are headed to 100,000 and 5,000K in 2022, according to Bloomberg. She's covering Bloomberg. Now, I don't know that I agree with this, and I'm a little bit concerned about it because it's not the only mainstream media outlet to call for $100,000 Bitcoin. And if you check out the links in the description of this video, which I always provide for your convenience so that you can figure out what's happening in markets on your own terms and at your own leisure, maybe you'll agree with me. Far too many mainstream media outlets are calling for $100,000 Bitcoin. That's almost a sure sign that it's not going to go there. And in fact, I think it may even be, I can't ascribe intent per se, whatever. I'd have no legal liability as far as that goes. This is op-ed and it's not financial advice, but I think it could be something more sinister. It really could. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but on a couple of shows now, I've told you that I had bad news for Bitcoin. I don't think it's in the end bad news, but it's short-term bad news. Let's take a look at what it is that I mean exactly here. So, scrolling on down, that's a really cool image, right? Of these two riding away from the sunset, or I guess riding into the sunset, having a grand time on their bikes there. But they're talking about how it's dropped to multi-month lows. Major cryptocurrencies like BTC and Ether are likely to hit all new all-time highs in 2022, according to an analyst at Bloomberg, Mike Miglone, and or Miglone. Talking about, hitting $100,000 Bitcoin, but I worry about this. I worry about this because there's more to it. Pantera-backed crypto exchange is freezing user funds. Now, if we think that the price is going up, why are we freezing user funds? It just doesn't match. You know what I mean? Look at what big money is doing, not what they're saying, right? So when you have a large VC-backed exchange pausing and freezing your withdrawals, but they're also saying, oh no, this is really good. Bitcoin's going to go back into price discovery and hit $100,000. I have my doubts. I just do. Yeah. So Yeah, it's I have my doubts. So I'm looking at what big money is doing, not what big money is saying, and clearly big money loves to say all kinds of things in the mainstream media in order to manipulate the sentiment. Crypto Mikkel says, quick look over here, buys more. Yeah, right, guys. Here's the thing. Like, I do think there's a strong possibility of an additional discount on Bitcoin. We'll see. We'll see. Take a look, though. The fear and FUD cycle. Sorry about leaving your chat off screen, guys. There you are. We got Jason Casper's generous super chat right there on screen. Do go check him out when you have a second. We got another one of the homies here in the chat, Crypto Mikkel, great GPU mining content creator, but also talks about DeFi and all kinds of stuff, maker stuff. We absolutely love the DCA Adventure family and Crypto Mikkel to pieces, guys. Do check them out. Be subscribed if you're not already. And then some Goblin Loser out of nose in the chat saying, if it goes against what all these institutions are saying, then I do not see it as bad news. Yeah, so that's just it. I don't see it as bad news either, right? For Bitcoin long term or midterm, but short term, I'm doubtful of what they're saying, and I have to. I've got to filter out the white noise. When I hear Bloomberg saying, "Oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to go back into price discovery," definitely hit 100K. What they're trying to say is there's too much of retail locked into institutional investment vehicles. These platforms like Celsius or like others similar that offer yield, and they're worried about a run on any institutions, not Celsius, but any of those that they have a stake in. They're worried about people making a run on their Bitcoin and trying to divest their Bitcoin to prevent further losses, right? Retail makes scared decisions. Retail really does make very scared decisions. As far as, oh no, is Bitcoin's price going down? I better sell right now. As opposed to, holding through a local bottom to then experience a recovery, right? A bounce and then a recovery back upwards. Retail tends to sell the bottom and buy the top. Just repeatedly. It's a big deal. So they're trying to coach retail into holding through to $100,000 Bitcoin. But I worry about the narrative being so strong. I think they're laying it on too thick, and that leads me to believe there might be further pain. So when you see influencers on crypto Twitter saying like, Bitcoin under 20K, couldn't happen, could never, ever possibly happen. My first thought is, actually, just because there's all this talk about it going to 100K and all this talk about how people have to hodl, that's the only strategy forward, that leads me to believe, no, you guys are trying to protect your own bags. Straight up, you're trying to protect your own interests. This is no longer sound advice, and it is a counter indicator. That's where my mind goes. Fit Fanatic says, best bet 30 in silver bullion, 30 in trash fiat, 40% in digital assets. Silver bullion peeps. Hey, I can't argue, man. I've got something of a prepper mindset myself. I like investing in lead and brass personally, and a little bit of blued steel to go around it to keep it warm. But I definitely do like being a little bit more diversified. That makes a lot of sense. And we try to keep it pretty commonsensical here. That said, we do like DeFi here on Mind Your Biz as well. So because there are more gains, right? If you're going to be in digital assets, like why not really work that game? For example, I mean, any asset class where you see massive appreciation. If you had been invested in lead and brass at the end of 2019, well, then in 2020, you would have gotten 400% of your money. You really would have. You would have been able to scalp your lead and brass for 400% in just a few months, if you remember the price action there. So, commodities and various other things, various other sides of the market, don't count out the boring stuff, right, so to speak. Anyway, moving back into this report here, though, with Pantera's crypto exchange is CoinSuper, right? They stop withdrawals. Let's see if there's a specific issue there. They're in Hong Kong, and they've not been able to withdraw. Oh, since November. That's a bigger issue. This may not be directly related, but they're filing police reports. This we could see the first signs of a serious problem, right? Some kind of misappropriation or theft here. So we'll see what's happening with CoinSuper. A little bit less of a directly correlated issue than I thought before, but I just wanted to bring that up when this stuff all hits simultaneously. And when there's more than one media outlets calling for $100,000 Bitcoin in 2022, guess what they called for in 2020? And then into 2021, they called for $400,000 Bitcoin. Guys, the euphoria, especially of major institutions, is not to be trusted. But neither is the fear, right? Like the majors, Bloomberg's, all the major outlets, and then all of the major institutions, you got to take what they say with a heavy grain of salt. Let's check out You today and see what they have to say about it. They're saying here's how much resistance Bitcoin needs just to reach 47,000 again. You know, as far as short-term media coverage, this kind of makes sense to me. This isn't pie in the sky. It's not like, oh, you got to hodl until we get to 100K. Like, dude, it could take 6 months to get to 100K if we do in this cycle, right? Like, if we do in this cycle, or if this totally alters the cycle, if stock to flow is fundamentally broken and we never go back to it, and it, we just keep crawling sideways until we kind of like sort of limp upwards back into higher price discovery with Bitcoin, it's still going to take a while, right? So telling everybody they have to hodl is, I don't know if that's always sound advice. Hodl is not a strategy if you're interested in higher gains. So yeah, but I do like what You today is covering here. I think this is much more responsible take with that framing. But you can go ahead and read the entire article on your own. It's linked down in the description. Don't want to go in depth on this one, but I just wanted to give them attention for what I think is a responsible headline and a responsible through line, right, of content. What will it take for people just to see $47,000 Bitcoin in the near term? Right, I think that's our main concern over the next week or two. If you're really worried about $100,000 Bitcoin sometime in January, I think you got it all wrong. Sometime in January, that's not your target, right? It's just not your target for Bitcoin. And if you're really worried about $100,000 Bitcoin at all, or breaking $100,000 with Bitcoin at all in the near term, I think you've got it totally wrong. I would love to be proven wrong, guys. I would love to see Bitcoin go parabolic and punch right through that $100,000 ceiling, that psychological barrier we all think it has the power to break through, but I'm just not seeing it right now. Barry Merritt jumps into the chat and says, now looks like a time to stake USD for yields. Yeah, some goblin loser, I don't know, says, didn't Bitcoin hit an all-time high of 30 at one point and then crashed to below 1 cent? No, it hit an all-time high of 1,000 and then crashed back towards 30, below 1 cent. There may have been a flash crash at some point early in its life cycle also that was 1 cent. And I apologize, I don't have like full command of the price history in that way. Some people remember it very, very intimately because they were there and they were invested in Bitcoin. Guys, disclosure, I wasn't. I don't LARP as an OG. I know people who do, right, who are happy to say like, yeah, I was on Bitcoin Talk back in the day. They'll never tell you their username or handle. But couldn't be me, right? So I'm sorry. I don't know the history there very well, guys. I'm always going to try to keep it real with you. But yeah. But Armand I think has a very grounded take on this. Let's worry about what's happening to get to $47,000 right now. Or, right, like since we dipped below 42, let's maybe worry about what happens if we head towards 37, right? Why don't we just chill out a little bit, chop a zero off of these numbers that we're looking at, and for right now, I can't believe I'm saying it, but let's zoom in a little bit. Let's not zoom out right away. If you're looking for aggressive yield, please do not listen to the mainstream media. Maybe that's my messaging right now. I'm not too worried about you like trying to flip massive profits in the short term, but I am a lot more worried about anybody taking the mainstream media seriously when it comes to Bitcoin or any digital assets and price targets. I think it's a fool's errand if you try to. Guys, thanks for being here and hitting that thumbs up. Every thumbs up really helps, and every subscription, if you're not subscribed, also really helps. Make the subscribe button explode and click the bell icon. Even if you're already subscribed, do double check that bell icon for notifications. Heard reports that some people are having that unclicked for them by YouTube. They're very, very considerate. They know what's really good for you. So if you wouldn't mind checking that out, man, that thing like really, that's weird to have that kind of flopping around in front of my face. Back to the content. Let's take a look at the Daily Hodl and their article about this is one person's take on what some great moves are going into alternative investments in the digital or the DeFi space. It says Atom, and then this other Ethereum competitor are the altcoins to focus on during the market crash, according to Alex Kruger. Now his picks are, we'll just cut to the chase, Cosmos and Fantom. And he says, focus on select few names such as Atom and FTM. For January, whether I'm bullish or not, it will depend on the data. If we see strong payrolls on Friday and higher than expected inflation on Wednesday, then markets will panic. Yeah, I can't disagree. Markets will panic, and we don't know which direction it's going to go for Bitcoin. Golden Wolf is in the chat saying, good morning from Seattle, USA. Thumbs up emoji. Appreciate that. Thanks, Golden Wolf. Did not know you were out in Seattle. Used to spend time out, near Redmond for work, but only quarterly. So what can I say? Do I miss it? It was nice to visit. Thank you for tuning in, though, buddy. I appreciate that. All right, so yeah, we cut Atom and Fantom as the call outs here. Let's take a look at our portfolios in just a little while to take a quick look at that. Barry says real estate is 30% overpriced. I can't disagree with that either. And then Fozzie and W says EV mentions a ticker symbol, says will make Atom top 10. I do believe that Atom has the potential to be a top 10 project. I do. And I think that it's not the only one, though. That's just it. It's going to be very fierce competition over the next little while. But I think that Cosmos has something going for it that very few others do. And we'll cover that in just a minute when we go over our portfolio. And I'll go over my reasonings as to why. You guys know I've been talking to you about Cosmos since it was in the $20-ish range, the mid-20s range. And it's we'll check in with it now, right? Like put our finger on its pulse, see where it is right now. But I think that there are some fundamental reasons for that. Don't know, I don't have a crystal ball or whatever. Obviously, I don't offer advice, but I'm just looking at it and thinking there are a few great projects that are building on it and an ecosystem that's developing there that we can't ignore. All right, guys, jumping back into our main event here, though. So I agree with him. Fantom, if we ignored Fantom, then we would have lost out on some pretty intense gains. Fantom surged ahead of a lot of the EVM competitors very, very quickly. People kind of slept on Fantom, but people also slept on Avalanche. So we'll see. Fozzie is saying EVM OS. Oh, I got it. I'm reading it correctly now. I think he says EVM OS, or she. Sorry, Fozzie. I didn't mean to assume your gender or your sex, but says EVM OS will bring ETH to Cosmos. A lot more money to roll in. Now, I believe that bridges from any kind of Ethereum virtual machine into the Cosmos ecosystem will create an absolute Leviathan of the IBC gang. So we'll be monitoring that close. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Latrell says, I've been trying to dig into some of the IBC gang. Yeah, dude, I was pretty slow on the uptake there for a minute with EVM OS. It's pretty straightforward, right? The EVM operating system. That's pretty cool. But they might have meant for it to mean something else. I like that, though. Kind of weird, though, to say Ethereum virtual machine and then put OS at the end. But it is descriptive. I appreciate you making me aware of it. I can't wait to take a look at that a little more closely. I think it'll impact some of our commentary moving forward. Guys, this stream is brought to you by Zoothereum. Need to mention to you really, really briefly, I don't always do this. It's not always something that I have the luxury of doing. It's not always something that I have the pleasure of doing. Let me pull, I had some notes over here. Let me grab those for myself. But I wanted to bring to your attention Zoothereum really fast. This is an NFT project that is actually relatively rare. When you take a look at what they have minted here, when you pay attention to some of the specifics, I don't always cover NFT projects, but I'm happy to when there's a strong fundamental case for it. And they asked me to show you a bit about their project. Everything's actually limited edition. The artwork is genuinely nice. It's all computer generated, as you can see, well rendered, properly lit, beautifully crafted, right? Skinned and modeled 3D art here from across multiple genres that are being tied into these initial NFTs that are eggs. So the initial purchase is of an egg type NFT, and they can hatch from aliens to dinosaurs, and you might not know initially what you're going to get. You're just going to know the basic species or basic breed of what you're buying. There will be no more than 250 copies, very limited supply, only 3,900 keys, and then they will turn into playable characters represented by those NFTs. But they already have all of the sort of genetics predetermined at this point. They've got all of that. It's not just generative. It is going to be working within a specific sort of like genus and species breakdown for all of these different characters. And they will not be reskinning any of their characters. That's what they're guaranteing. And we'll be reskinning any of their eggs or any of their characters. It's kind of just going to be this breakdown of what you see right here. 900 eggs total, including their Arctic egg, their robotic egg, a cemetery egg, so I guess a zombie egg, if it's got something alive in it, the Oriental egg. And then it looks, I mean, are you getting some Godzilla vibes there? I know I am, for sure. Maybe some Mothra style characters coming out of that. Island egg. So we got more of the scaly type characters, something that's a little bit more like the Missing Link. A Mayan egg, which has got these kind of quasi-alien vibes to it, right? Sort of like Stargate style vibes to it there. Galactic egg, the ocean egg, and then the Egyptian egg, which also has a really great Tomb Raider slash, Return of the Mummy, Revenge of the Mummy style stuff there. And then everything evolves from that point. The artists are a team of cryptocurrency investors who also happen to work in CG full time. So about 15 years plus of tenure in that space. And they're very committed to the crypto lifestyle at this point, and they've been working on a roadmap that they've consistently delivered on so far. The 3,900 NFTs. In March of this year, though, they will have Series 2 ready to go. And then in April of this year, they'll have their game on track for some kind of a debut. Maybe not beta gameplay, but perhaps something that can just be showcased. And then the IDO that has to do with governance for the project, they are not going to launch any kind of an IDO until they have something that's playable and more of a product attached to this project. So pretty excited about that. They have a call to action right here. That is that you can explore and get your NFTs right now by going to Zoothereum.com, and a link to this project is in the description, guys. Thanks for giving me a chance to show you about this project. I'm pretty excited about projects like this, especially when there's gameplay that's being developed and it's moving towards a play-to-earn ecosystem, guys. I was very, very serious about having more of a play-to-earn line of content here on Mine Your Biz, and we're coming up with a strategy for that very, very soon. So if you know any projects that have play-to-earn mechanics, play-to-earn tokenomics, and economics, then do please let me know. Reach out to me on Twitter or on Telegram, or have their projects reach out to me so we can figure out how to set that up. The family over at DCA Adventure is also starting a play to earn series, which I think is great. So we may be able to do some crossover content there as well, guys. Look forward to playing across all of the cryptosphere on YouTube and on Odyssey, as well as maybe Twitch too. So we might do some streaming there. But just letting you know, that's coming up in the roadmap. Guys, your chat is on screen. Do be on your best behavior. Thank you for being here live. I appreciate that. Let me get some things out of the way here. Take a look at our current like counter. Guys, I appreciate you being here. Do be sure that you're not lurking. We've had an issue lately, or YouTube has had an issue lately, with live streams getting absolutely like all this love in terms of people showing up, but not as many likes as we have viewers. Go ahead and hit all those buttons. Click all the buttons. Make sure that you are double checking your subscription status, because YouTube occasionally also knows better than you on that. Taking a look at the current TX Street stats, price to execute a smart contract is $69. Oh, the poetry. If only it could be $69.42. That would be perfect. Oh, well, way to ruin a perfect meme, txstreet.com, or I guess Ethereum network just ruined a perfect stream. But moving on down, guys, the cost to send just Ether on the network is about $13. Oh, what could go wrong? That's lucky, right? Over on Bitcoin, we're only looking at about 75 cents to send a transaction. It's not the best possible time to be using any kind of a mixer. On this show, we endorse Samurai Wallet on Android for Bitcoin users who want to achieve greater privacy. They've got a far better track record. I'm not paid to say this. This is not any kind of a sponsored endorsement or anything, but it's open source, it's free, it can be audited, and it's got a great track record of keeping Bitcoin users safe from prying eyes. So that's Samurai Wallet. It's available in the F-Droid repository or F-Droid store, so you can check that out. Stressmaster BK says, yo, YouTube is finally fixed and showing me your channel again and getting notifications. Wow. Will miracles never cease? Thank you so much for being here. Definitely appreciate that, guys. The time we spend together, to me, this is precious time, right? I try to keep sponsorships during live streams to a minimum wherever possible, so we can just talk about some of the markets and we can chat, right? We can just accept your chat. And while I really, really appreciate the super chat from Jason it's not necessary for me to engage with your comments. We're just going to talk, guys. This is a community show where we talk, right? So do ask questions. And if you have answers, go ahead and answer questions as you see them pop up in the chat. On that note, guys, currently, yeah, at 72 cents per transaction on Bitcoin, not the best time to use any kind of a Chaumian CoinJoin solution like Samurai Wallet because your fees will be just a little bit higher overall, but it's not bad. Drinking Milk is in the chat, says, yo, thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate that. Definitely appreciate it. And got Latrell asking about Osmo. He says, Osmo is what I meant to ask about the last live stream, not Hex. Silly me, lol. Oh, that's great, guys. Yeah, so on that note, confession time. I'm going to be live streaming with Eric Wall, if you're familiar with Eric Wall. With Eric Wall and a few other notable Hex critics. Now, it's kind of funny because I'm not super critical of Hex, but I am on the fence. I'm also not a Kool-Aid drinker. But I've been invited by the Hexagon community to be on their multi-day event live streamed today, this afternoon, with Eric Wall and some others in a bit of a dissenter style, maybe not debate, but sort of friendly debate. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to talk about tokenomics. We're going to talk about the centralization and proof of stake, the inherent centralization of proof of stake, and the inherent threat vectors from state level actors of proof of stake that proof of work kind of solves. And it should be a lot of fun. So do check that out. I think that's going to be streaming on the Discourse Syndicate, their channel, but I'll double check and be sure that I link that in the community tab of this channel, as well as tweet it out on Twitter. So be attentive there, guys. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I do view these people as friendly, and I do view all communities that are actually actively trying to build something in cryptocurrency as potential allies. So again, you hear me say it, I'm trying to walk the walk too. Like, I'm trying not to just pick winners here, right? Like, or tell everybody like, oh yeah, they're definitely like blessed by the finger of Satoshi, and everybody else is, you know, going to burn in the flames of Peter Schiff's gold bug bucket of crabs, right? Like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be that heavy-handed about offering my opinions. I do think that we're still in this phenomenal phase of building, and because of the market phase that we're in, where money is flowing so easily, there's VC money and there's retail money flowing into all kinds of projects and helping us explore new things. So I'm trying not to judge things too harshly or too soon. I missed out on Avalanche. And as an extension, I did not help anybody in my audience get exposure to Avalanche, even though one of my close personal associates, as a quant, has been studying it and telling me, like, Seth, you got to look at Avalanche. Seth, you got to look at Avalanche. Hey, Seth, have you looked at Avalanche? For months, he was telling me. And like a dumb, I just stayed out. I really feel bad about that. So I'm trying to keep a more open mind about that sort of thing, guys, and make sure that I don't just throw babies out with bathwaters, so to speak. Andre is in the chat saying, hey. That's great, man. I could do the voice. We can do that. We could actually interview him at some point. I don't know if that'd be the best thing, but he's here. Stressmaster BK says, I wish there was some verification process for new crypto, as I know a lot of people that lost out on the Squid Game coin scam. Yeah, that's the other thing. So many different variants of the Squid Game, and all of them obviously branding the same. So Fozzy NW says, that's why I still hold some BSV. Bro, I think you're right. And it's funny, my former co-host and now sometime work associate, Nerd Girl 007. And guys, thanks for that sub. I hear that coming in live. Nerd Girl, she totally bought BSV when the initial FUD started, and she experienced like that very first really incredible price action movement on BSV. Same with Bitcoin Cash. She was like, oh, is there kind of some controversy here? She jumped in and she won big. She carved out a little micro portfolio, I think from only a few $100, just over on that bet on BSV and Bitcoin Cash. So guys, it's one thing when we're too ideologically driven on some of these projects, as opposed to just saying, you know, dispassionately, I can evaluate every project and see if there's a reason that it might capture my attention or a little bit of my investment. Right. And if it doesn't have strong fundamentals, and if it doesn't have like the proper ideology for a long-term hold or a long-term strategy, then clearly it's not something that you would just set and forget, right? Put either your interest like your focus or your investment into for a long term. But yeah, some people have won really, really big by just looking for, you know, depressed price action, or like we do with 0x Bitcoin, looking for things that have weird price movements and obvious signals of an opportunity for you. So am I saying to be opportunistic with your investments? No, I'm not saying that. Opportunistic has a negative connotation, and it means that you're willing to slit other people's throats when you see the opportunity. But I am saying be smart and don't close doors, right? Like don't slam doors shut in this space. And I think that I'm learning that lesson very clearly this market cycle. Drinking Milk says Binance coin as well. Yeah, totally. Milos is in the chat saying, love jumping into your live. Any opinion about ERG? The more I mine, the more it dumps. An AXS, Axie Infinity token. Also, Chia announced some news are coming. Hey, I really appreciate that. And some Goblin Loser throws a super chat out, says, I miss out on a lot of stuff too. Well, I'm sorry about that, guys. We're gonna try to correct those problems in the near future. I know I need to be live streaming more frequently. I probably also need to be editing down some of my content into smaller soundbite style videos, because we do go over a lot when we live stream. We'd go over a whole lot. I actually go over more content in terms of the markets that I cover than really even a lot of the major channels. So I'm realizing that I'm putting in a lot of hours, and I'm trying to make sure that we cover as much content as possible. But the format, I think, is keeping this channel from being discovered by noobs, right? Who probably need to hear this stuff. A lot of this audience is pretty savvy. And guys, I'm really proud to know you. I'm really proud that you've chosen to spend this time with me. Thank you. That really means a lot to me. It's humbling. But I know that we got to reach more noobs too. So need shorter form, smaller content that is more understandable for them. So got to figure that out. Anyway, jumping back in, these are the current prices for today, guys. Let's take a look at our Bitcoin chart. We're going to get this out of the way right now. That channel that we predetermined or we predefined, yeah, looking pretty good. We wicked down into almost the green. And if you're new to this channel, if you're new to this live stream, the Mine Your Biz live stream, I talk about these channels as the areas where I'm willing to I'm willing to put in my own money, my own fiat dollars. Shout out to CTO Larson, phenomenal channel on Bitcoin and on all kinds of markets. I don't know how long he was exposed to Haven. He's never mentioned the expose media or the early interviews that I've done with the Haven team directly in helping expose them when they were basically unknown. As a micro influencer, it was the right fit at that time. But he's very heavily into Haven protocol now, and a few other projects that we like, Flux as well. So we've got some similar picks. I think some very similar worldview. The only difference is he's this awesome like CTO guy who's independently very successful and now making content on crypto. So definitely appreciate some of his work, and took this idea of these ranges, like, oh yeah, zoom out. And we do have kind of like, he identified 3 basic ranges. I created a 4th here, and then I went ahead and color coded it, something he didn't do. I color coded it to show that green means go in my book. This means DCA all day. Or if we're already operating here and we wick down, it means get a value buy. If you see a falling knife plummeting through red, red still means stop. Yellow means, depends on what kind of operator you are, right? Red could mean slow down, or it could mean go faster, right? Depending on how close you are to a really positive outcome. But green means go in most people's books. Green means go. That's why we color coded these the way that we did. And then we just use the chopsticks to kind of identify very simple moves. That's it. We've also got the MACD down here because it's very simple to read. The moving average, convergence, divergence. It gives us a little histogram right here to give us a sense for how high the volume is and how big the move is pushing into bullishness or bearishness. These are very simple indicators that I'm coming to really appreciate because they help a guy like me who's more focused on fundamental analysis the way that miners are. So yeah, looking at this trend though, guys, it hasn't reversed. It hasn't changed. If anything, it's gotten sharper to the downside. So I don't know where we go from here. Do we head towards 37? I'm not going to make a prediction there. I don't know. But the current trend indicates that we've been bouncing downward, right? So about a 2 or 3 bounce down before we hit something that almost appears to be like a recovery, right? A big dip down and then boom, a recovery. And then it dips harder right? Like a dead cat bounce, right? Like, yay, euphoria, bam, the market gets rocked. Again, 1, 2, 3, boom, euphoria, market gets rocked, big red candle day. And then we do it again. And this time, we moved from dead cat bounce to dead cat bounce. Boom, big bounces, right? Drinking Milk says, count your waves. Hey, I appreciate that. I don't know, and I apologize, guys. I'm just going to wear my ignorance on my sleeve. I don't know exactly what you mean by count your waves. Like here, do you mean like these 2 or 3 bounces before the move? Because at this point, I think we're in a different pattern. And I don't want to try to identify like too closely patterns or think too much, like too rigidly about technical analysis. Drinking Milk is saying Elliott wave theory. I haven't looked deeply into Elliott wave theory. I've heard of it, but you know what? I'm going to take this as a challenge. Let me see what I can look up. I'll at least get some of the whatever the ABCs of Elliott wave theory, and try to come back to the next live stream a little bit more intelligent than I am today. So I appreciate you calling me to act there. There's really no excuse for it, guys. It's like Socrates and his quote. I'm going to paraphrase his quote on physical development. Right? No man has the right to be an amateur in the question of physical development. This is one of the greatest minds of his generation, talking about how you have to be physically well-rounded too. So nobody gets off easy, right? Nobody has an excuse, right? We all have to improve ourselves for sure. That's our call in life, our calling in life. Golden Wolf says exchange bought 3,400 BTC. Yes. So Binance bought a lot of BTC yesterday. What I didn't say on BitBoy's channel that I wish we had time for is kind of my conspiracy theory. And it's not a conspiracy. Binance doesn't just operate exchanges, centralized exchanges. They also operate a reserve for a different asset. Can you guess what it is? Tell me in the chat, guys. Your chat's on screen. Go on to see those guesses coming in. What is it that Binance operates a reserve for? All right, guys, that's our chart right now. Let me go ahead and adjust our chopsticks. So we'll slice through a different side, show a more aggressive downward trend. And now I'm going to go ahead and just try to capture those, and we'll show something of a descending triangle. And we're just going to go ahead and capture the body of that last candle right now. And lo and behold, it puts us below 40,000. Who knows? Very unlikely. Luttrell says they operate a reserve for Hex. Barry Merritt. USDT? Nope. Good guesses, though, guys. Really good guesses. Keep them coming. What does Binance operate a reserve for? Andre says Chinese hot pots? Maybe. I don't know, man. Got to hit up CZ on Twitter and ask about that. I mean, seems rare. Next Era Gamer says BNB. You're getting warm. That's great. Absolutely. BNB. But BNB is not a back token. It is a governance token. So warm, but not very warm. Let's keep that moving in the right direction, guys. All right, keep on guessing about like why does Binance operate a reserve there? But that's our chart. We're going to lock that in. Take a look at DeFi Llama while you make some other guesses here. Your chat is on screen, guys. Do be on your best behavior. Keep it clean. Keep it family friendly as best you can. I totally dropped some potty language yesterday or the day before. Bad. It's all these stupid original Amazon Prime and Netflix series, man. They're all rated R. They're all TVMA. It's such a bad influence, right? Like, why isn't anything actually made PG-13 anymore? Like it's like they forgot that kids still exist in this world. When I did too. It's kind of bad. Anyway, 62% or 62.5% market dominance for Ethereum as of today. And this, guys, is a downward trend. It's continuing. Like, I'm very, very curious to see how Fantom and how Cosmos line up. Osmosis is higher in the lineup than Cosmos right now because Osmosis is actually a proper DeFi platform. So I don't think that Cosmos is being counted in the same way. But here's the thing, guys. Cosmos creates the substrate upon which Osmo operates. Same with Sif Chain. Same with Comdex. Same with so many others, right? Oh, let me go ahead and show that comment. What? YouTube, why would you make Pocket Change? Pocket Change, we're going to right a wrong right now. Pocket Change is now a moderator. Gosh darn it. Say what you want. Say what you want, Pocket Change. You're always welcome here. Door's always open. So I don't get it sometimes. My filters are also really restrictive, guys. They're really, really restrictive to try to make sure that we don't get like evil trolls and just nasty, bitter people in the chat all the time. Yeah, I got to warn you though, Pocket, and Mikkel knows, if you slip up and you shill a link in my chat, like, no, I'll put you in timeout, put you in the troll box for a week, and then I'll let you back out. Guys, we've been through the ringer in the past on this channel with people just putting stuff, random stuff there. Hey, Pocket Change is shocked. Guess what? The fireman was alarmed. Some Goblin Loser says, people like me, LOL. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, really get a bit.ly link there. Be like, don't worry, it's safe. Just click it. Just click it. What's wrong, bro? Just click it. It's a bit.ly link. It'll go someplace safe. Yeah, I'd rather not find out. So here we are, guys. Now you guys, you know I love your face, but gosh darn, do we troll each other? Yes, we do. Yeah, Crypto Mikkel says, but I still love you, bro. You know the love is mutual, and we gotta do more collab content. We just do. Mikkel and I, we got way too many hobbies. First off, not way too many children. I think we agreed that children are not a hobby. He's got enough that he's in the pro leagues. I've got enough that I'm in the pro. They're old enough that I'm in the pro leagues too, right? Like we're past the collegiate leagues of parenting. So yeah, we got to chat more. We got to do more stuff. But guys, here on this lineup, we got Fantom is still in the top 6, in the top 10, and that TVL is growing, and that's great and all, but so is the protocol count. And you know that's how I like to evaluate a lot of these DeFi protocols, is figuring out how many other projects actually want to voluntarily put their value here. And here's why. You'll see me, I'm going to bring this right back up this afternoon when I'm on the Hex live stream. It's going to be great. Guys, it's going to be so great. Eric Wall and the whole gang doing our dissenter area there. If you're not subscribed, obviously, to this channel, guys, do make sure that you are. I know. How many times have I said this on this stream? Enough? Maybe. Not sure. Hey, what? Pocket Chain says, wow, did you listen to the secret video I was recording last night? One of my comments was about some of you even having a thought, let alone making me a moderator for your channel. Beyond words. Thank you. Pocket, you are the GPU mining content creators. What is it I'm looking for? You're absolutely a gem, right? You're a hidden gem. So sorry it took so long, actually, if anything. Appreciate you being here. Anytime Pocket is here in the chat, guys, it's a good time. So all right, so just taking a look at stop it. All right, taking a look at the lineup again, Tron is actually moving into the top 10 as well, but I like to measure this by way of protocol support. And when I look at protocol support, I see that Ethereum has the top, right? It's the king daddy. Nobody can dethrone Ethereum for DeFi right now. DeFi equals Ethereum, full stop. Even if something else were to gain more market share, it wouldn't fully displace Ethereum. Even if Ethereum dropped to 30% of the total DeFi markets, it would still very likely be the number one, right? It would just mean that every other protocol has a smaller slice of the pie, but there are more protocols taking up that pie. So I think that's what it's going to do. Some Goblin Loser chimes in, worried about the potential consequences of Pocket Change having the ban hammer. Be afraid. Be very afraid. All right, guys, but I like looking at protocol support. BSC is in that number 2 spot by way of protocol support. It's also in that number 2 spot by way of TVL, but then Polygon becomes the number 3 participant. Avalanche not far behind it. And this is where I felt very, very silly for not paying attention to the warnings of my quant friend, because Avalanche is coming up so fast. Fantom, this is why I believe the article from before. Fantom has 110 protocols on its layer right now. And then look at that. The delta between Fantom and Arbitrum, it's got half. It's got less than half the number of protocols on Arbitrum right now. Solana, less than half. Oh, but Solana has all the TVL, but you don't understand. I'm going to make fun of Chris. Chris, if you're watching, I'm making fun of you in the most friendly way. And Dustin, I love you guys, and we do have to do a collab. But Solana, it uses Rust as the programming language, and you don't understand. VCs love Solana. It's so great. Yeah, but it's the only one that's been shut down like 3 times. Literally like 3 times it's been actually shut down, or the validator network has had to be restarted. So I've got my doubts about Solana. It's not perfect is what I'm saying. Does it work? A little bit, yeah. And is it really, really cool? Well, yeah, obviously it's really, really cool. But that's not everything when it comes to these markets. Guys, Bitcoin still has massive market share. Does it run on the latest programming language that every new developer coming out of programming school wants to use? No. Bitcoin is not sexy. It isn't. It's about as sexy as a Sherman tank. And I use that example intentionally. That's an old model. Nobody's out there, building new Sherman tanks. You're only restoring old ones, right? Like using really old tech. So there's nothing particularly sexy about Bitcoin other than the fact that it does what it's supposed to do really well. That's it. That's all it does. So, it's a pet rock. It's a really, really fancy pet rock, okay? But yeah, Solana, sure, it uses Rust. But bro, we're talking about finance. There are, in traditional finance systems right now, there's still tons of municipalities. And by tons, I mean thousands or millions of municipalities around the United States and globally that still use COBOL. Why? Because it's monolithic. It doesn't break. So when you talk about programming language being why a new protocol is superior, I'm not convinced. Sorry. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when being shiny and new didn't make something better. So rant over, right? Like, besides, we can get into VHS and Betamax and all the other stuff too if you really, really want. It's not always a question of the better technology winning. So yeah. Barry does COBOL? What? We bow in your presence. This man will never be unemployed. It's just true, guys. COBOL will exist until the universe experiences heat death. So moving down the list. Yeah, I like looking at protocol support as a better fundamental measure. And why is Matic so favored? Why does it have such heavy protocol support? Because it exists to serve as a de facto layer 2 or scaling solution to Ethereum. It's not multi-chain. It's not there to scale with BSC. Are there bridges out there between BSC and Polygon? Well, yeah, of course. Third parties can do what they want. That's the beauty of it. It's permissionless. Is there a bridge between it and Avalanche or Solana? Well, yes, absolutely. All bridge. Look it up. Or just go to QuickSwap. It's available right there. If you're on the correct RPC and you don't make a fool of yourself by staying on the incorrect RPC. It works. It works, guys. There are bridges everywhere. So, yeah. Anyway, that was very strong language, guys. Very, very strong. My point is we can make better choices. But all the rest, as you move down the list, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And when you look at now, Tron, even though it has $4.7 billion locked on it, it's only got 7 protocols. EOS has 9 protocols and it's got less than 200 million, less than $250 million. So yeah, it's not always a question of having value locked. Same with Waves. Waves is a phenomenal project. And I know some people who kind of became Waves maxis for a time, but the protocol support isn't there. So even though there are a few coins that have a high dollar value attached to what's locked on chain, they don't have enough protocols. Stressmaster BK asks, what are these protocols? I appreciate you asking. Let's take a quick look. So let's jump back up, guys. What I want to do is show you on Polygon. We'll just jump directly to the Polygon chain page here. And what it should do is show us, first off, total value locked, the change over 24 hours. It's Aave dominance, which is kind of a nice thing to see. That's a strong indicator of yield as well. But then it shows us right here, down below, all of the protocols that are there. So Aave, for example, QuickSwap. It's not a big one, but yeah, no, QuickSwap is pretty big on Polygon for sure. And guys, shout out to the homies over QuickSwap. I've got privileged access there, and I try not to shill on the channel because I know I've got privileged access there. So like I can talk to developers and I can hear about things that are coming down the pipeline for QuickSwap, which is why I try to be very tight-lipped about that, right, guys? Loose lips sink ships, and QuickSwap is doing their own thing and they're doing it well. So that's why they're number 2 there. Aave, Curve, SushiSwap, Balancer, a lot of stuff you've heard of, right? Beefy DAO or Beefy Finance rather, QiDAO, Klima, Superfluid, all of these, right, guys? Plenty of swap protocols, right? DinoSwap and ApeSwap, AutoFarm, UMA, Uniswap is now V2. But there's plenty of tokens there as well, because these are all launched natively. There's stuff that's bridged as well that you're not going to see quite as much. So 5 million. Let's move on down. Yeah, 5 million. So for example, we've taken a look on this show live. We've taken a look at how Hex, for example, was bridged onto Polygon. It's not present here, right? Doesn't show as a native protocol that is on Polygon. It's just been bridged over. Got Dirtoby saying, hello, peeps and gals. You heard it here first, guys. There's only girls, and then there's people. Sorry, girls, you're not people. Dirtoby has come here to break the bad news to you. Anyway, sorry, just caught me off guard. Dirtoby, welcome. I'm just being silly. I'm giving you a hard time. That's what we do here. It's all in good fun. But Mary Merritt says, any swap. And Stressmaster BK says, are these protocols like mining pools? Yes, they are. They're like liquidity mining pools. They're like liquidity mining pools or like yield farming pools. And so they are, no, it's okay. I appreciate that. Stressmaster BK says, reminder, as a noob, nice hash person, I don't know what the protocols are by definition. I appreciate you asking. This is a big deal. And thank you. That helps tee up some stuff for me. For me to answer. I really appreciate that. But these protocols, a lot of them are DeFi yield protocols. And I don't have the book with me right now. It's not here at this desk. But I am going over a book that helps to talk about this at a very low level in an extremely good way. Like, I'm jealous that I wasn't the guy who wrote this book because it's so well thought out. But yeah, it's called The Wall Street Era is Over. I'm doing a full book review, but also reviewing the platform from the authors. So yeah. So good question. No, a lot of these protocols, a lot of them, not all of them per se, but a lot of these. Wow, you guys remember clams? That's funny. AtterClam is different though. But a lot of these like Unilend and others, they're designed to be either lending or DeFi yield platforms. And these little icons next to them show us if there are other chains that they are on. There are a few Polygon exclusive projects here, but then others such as MStable that are only on Polygon and Ethereum, or Ramp that was on Ethereum and then on BSC because BSC jumped in, and then Polygon, right? So yeah, there are others that are, of course, on every chain they can possibly be on. O3 swap, for one example right here, it's on even on Huobi Echo Chain, Seabridge, Allbridge, which is really good to see. Actually, Allbridge is a protocol that is designed to help bridge other assets across these using Wormhole for Solana and then some others between Solana. Stressmaster BK says, is that book available in audio as well? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. But you've had me thinking about it for a while. I probably should get into doing some audiobooks. This as an audiobook for DeFi, I would gladly do voiceover for them and create the audiobook for this because it's that in depth and just so good. It would be worth my time to carve out a few days to do the voiceover or just record the audiobook for them for for Audible. Because they're already on Amazon, right? They're on Kindle, and then they're on Kindle Direct. So get a paper copy shipped to you, but no audiobook yet. But yeah, I mean, like, it is that good, guys. I'm just going to give you a little preview. It is that good. It's a page turner if you don't know anything about DeFi. If you do know something about DeFi, it's very well written and includes very comprehensive chapter summaries. So you can just skim through and just check to see, is there something I missed? Is there something I should read about to expand my knowledge? Because I'm already a person that does this. It's beautiful. Stressmaster BK says, I would love that. And they pay like $2,000 per 8 to 12 hours. I don't know, man. That's a little below my rate. You think I'm joking? It is a little below my rate. Y'all can't afford me. Jokes. But I would like just the content, guys. I wouldn't mind being associated with that. So moving back over to the, what is a protocol though? So Avagachi, some others. Some of these are not necessarily like per se like DeFi yield protocols per se, but then you see again Polycat, Furukomo, Bunny. Well, not Bunny, but Firebird, Polymarket, as well as some others, right? That are exclusive to Polygon. So Kevin McCormick says, joining from Son of a Tech. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate that. I think you might be the only person that is joining in after Son of a Tech stream. I got Dynamite Mining in the chat. What's up, man? Love seeing the mining channels roll in, guys. And do let me know if you're interested in collab or crossover media. What I love about the GPU mining community, especially the GPU mining community, is that there's just a tremendous amount of value that's added across everybody's different sort of respective channels. So, all right, but let's jump on out of here. Take a look at some of these protocols. So this is why I'm excited about it, though, guys. You got a lot of exclusives that are just on Polygon. You got some things that are literally just on like Ethereum, Polygon, and maybe one other protocol like Aave, right? It's only on Avalanche right now. That's part of what has made Avalanche such a strong buy, is the fact they were chosen by Aave. But yeah, be aware of that. I'm not going to turn my back on Avalanche again, but I'm also not going to turn my back on Fantom, right? So here we go, guys. GPU profitability ranking at 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Things are looking a little more dire. We're at about $4.41 for that RTX 3090. Shout out to Son of a Tech, who just very, very clear head on his most recent purchases. Looking at, I think it was the 6600 or the 6600 XT that he got at what he felt was a really good price in order to round out his mining operation. Let's jump on down to that right now. So look at that. Look for that 6600 or that 6600 XT. It looks like Team Red is showing our 6600 XT at about $1.29 in daily profit, 6600 at about $1.14 in daily profit. So at the current market pricing, we're looking at just, if you were at 14 cent per kilowatt hour power, you're looking at just under 600 days to profitability in order to, or I guess just under like 500 days or so to profitability, which in the current markets, guys, hardware is way overpriced. We're all getting gouged, and there's no other way to get hardware right now. But all things considered, it's not the worst thing. It's really not the worst thing. They're also extremely efficient, so easy to manage. Not as efficient as something like, say, the 1050 Ti that is literally just bus powered, right, at 32 cents per day. But yeah. Stressmaster BK saying I'm still looking for a 1080 Ti for my AutoCAD system that needs VRAM. Anyone here? Even if flaky fan, bad heating setup, I can rebuild it. Yeah, man, good luck. I'd say, like, if it's definitely for AutoCAD and you don't need anything quite like that, anything that's for gaming, maybe consider getting a workstation class card, guys. That was the hack that I used back in 2017, 2018 to acquire GPUs that had a good mining profile but had a better resale profile. And when we're at this sort of like twilight of heavy mining profitability, you might look at workstation class cards if you know that's your primary use case and you're not gaming on them. So I would say, like, I wouldn't normally say this, but Stressmaster BK, if you're looking at workstation class usage, consider just workstation class cards. A lot of people in the mining space are getting the RTX A4000s to mine on, and man, it's only 8 gigs of RAM though. So yeah, maybe something along those lines though. Maybe the A6000 would be a good bet. I know you're looking for a bit more of a deal with heavier RAM count. So you could also maybe look at one of the Vega workstation class cards that has 16 gigs of RAM. If what you really need is bigger scene files for CAD or for 3D work. So something to consider there. Yeah, there's the Vega Frontier Edition, right? It's got 16 gigs RAM. It's a lot older, similar class, similar category to the 1080 Ti. So consider that. But guys, here in the rest of the lineup, yeah, profits are down. Let's take a look at the cards that are the coins that are in profit right now. Oh, Golden Wolf says they're making a 12 gig version of the A2000. Bruh. Definitely the way to go. Always, newer core if you can. 12 gigs RAM on an A2000 makes sense, especially for AutoCAD, especially. Nah, man, you're in good shape there. Or if you were on Maya or like Blender or something, that'd be a really great buy, I think. Okay, taking a look at the rest of the lineup here, guys. We got top of the list, ETH, Elaism, inexplicably again, Elaism, Raven back on the list. We always delete NiceHash, guys. That's on this show. I do not endorse NiceHash. Take a look at the links in the description for miningrigrentals.com. If you're looking at renting out your hash rate, I think it should be something you do with a bit more intention and understanding who your customer is. Like, I think you should be able to KYC if you're renting out your rig. Case in point, what if you were renting out just allowed somebody to have an SSH session into your home, onto your home network, and you're not a network engineer, you just rent out your computer to somebody on some open marketplace, how do you know they're not downloading naughty pictures onto your computer? How do you know they're not doing terrible things, performing DDoSes with your computer? Well, I think that you need to go to a marketplace like Mining Rig Rentals so you know that you can either like shut off a contract, you can refund somebody their money, you can personally just block a given buyer if you don't want to work with them again. So I think it's a much more conscientious way of renting out your hash rate as opposed to NiceHash. Whoa, looks like our viewer count is kind of calming down. Don't know what's happening there, guys. But thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Drinking milk, cough, botnet. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right? Right. Okay, guys, appreciate you being here, though, live. It does mean a lot, guys. Thanks for being here live. Thanks for hitting those likes. Thanks for sharing the link so we can keep on rocking and rolling. But moving from our GPU mining profitability into our portfolios. Actually, before we do that, I'm bringing back the ASIC mining profitability. Why? Because it matters. At 14 cents per kilowatt hour power, you're never breaking even on the current price to mine. Depending on the model that you use. We're not going to identify a specific model, but yeah, it just does not look very good. And the bare cost to mine right now, go with our standard hardware, go with a micro BT, What's Miner, M. Oh, they only have a couple of models now. What? Why would you guys do this? They completely revamped this. This is why it broke, by the way. Why it broke. We're going to go top of the line. They don't even show us the S19. What is wrong with you guys? S9 only. Okay, there you go. S9, because Brains OS. You guys are awesome. We're gonna have to make some custom profiles here, though, guys. Definitely appreciate that. And Barry Merritt says RX 6900 XT prices are down to 1600. That's awesome. Yes. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Some Goblin Loser says the bots got scrubbed. Guys, thank goodness. I don't know what's going on. There could be, I think it's NVIDIA. I think it's Jensen. I think Jensen is sicking bots onto anybody who's talking about GPU mining. I don't know. Is Jensen even real? That's always the big question. So, but here we are, guys, at the mining efficiency, and the cost to produce one full Bitcoin on an S9, even on 5-cent power, is almost $19,000. Imagine trying to mine residentially. You're underwater, guys. You're totally upside down. The only way you're even going to be able to currently match the price of Bitcoin, if it continues to plummet, is to be below 10 cents, right? See right there, be below 11 cents. 8-cent power gets you a little bit of profit, but not if we did further. You're going to really struggle to pay those bills. Let's move over to a different profile if we can. Oh man, I'm really kind of bummed that they only show these entry-level models. Apparently they have completely revamped this to the point that it's no longer what it previously was. We used to be able to select the M20S as well as the S19. So kind of sad about that. But here we are, guys, looking at similar efficiencies, $24,000 Bitcoin here. And this is just not indicative of what most people are using, or what most people are buying to mine at home. Kind of more what people are using for industrial farms. It's also, these are the most plentiful models, though. So yeah, guys, the bare cost to mine Bitcoin, its utility value, is lower than most people think. If we did see a massive market correction, we could see $15,000 Bitcoin. Barry Merritt says, I'm invested in S19 J Pro and S19 XP. If it drops to 7K, I'm losing money. Yeah, no, totally. But that's the highest efficiency. We have to look at where the greatest hash rate density is coming from. And there's greater hash rate density in the middle of the line. So not the S19 Pro, but also not the S9. There are more S9s in the market, though, than S19 Pros. That's something just to be aware of. So yeah, we've kind of have to look at the averages. Right towards the middle there is right about where it's going to be. So $15,000-ish, give or take, is going to be about the average cost to produce Bitcoin when we do test new lows. Dynamite Mining says, I'm focusing on my Zen ASICs for now. Really believe in Horizon. Yeah, no, cool. Yeah, Zencash. It is a cool project, and definitely they have delivered on the roadmap items that they've outlined. Their milestones continue to be hit. So that's really, really cool. Let's see. Toby is heading out. Appreciate you guys being here, though. Alrighty. And Stress Master BK says, yeah, those are almost always bad for residential. I pay 13.5 cents per kilowatt hour. Oh, yeah. That's why we use the 14-cent figure, guys. Because it resembles what some people actually pay. But jumping out of our cost to mine, let's go into our portfolios. GPU mining, we got Flux at $2.38. Still just amazing if you've been holding Flux in recent memory. It's basically found support back at where it was roughly 7 days ago. So not that bad, but it's still the #1 entry in our GPU mining portfolio. Safecoin in the #2 spot. Ravencoin still above break even. What else is above break even? Polygon. How much farther ahead than Ethereum is it? About 15%. So I don't feel bad about that at all. I feel very good about it finally being over $2 and finding support at over $2. That's pretty amazing. But it wasn't always that way. Biggest loser, sadly, is Haven. Haven down bad, $2.67. Though some would say this is a value buy. I don't know, man. I think it does have the potential to go back up. It was 10x that price at its all-time high, rather $28 at its all-time high. Is it definitely going to go back to that? Nah, I can't say that with confidence. But in the same way that we looked at a couple of other projects in this range, right, much lower range as value buys, I think we could potentially look at Haven as a value buy. Because look, it's $41 million market cap. It's not like BitTube or Swap where you got these ultra micro caps, but it is very depressed price, 30% down. So you do with that what you will. Maybe you think that's a good value buy. Maybe you don't. Maybe you believe in its roadmap, but also maybe you don't. Ergo, it's down bad. But apropos of some of the announcements we've seen, people in the chat letting us know about some of the roadmap items coming up. Maybe we'll see a resurgence for Ergo. Maybe we'll see it recover a bit from that almost 18% dip over the last 7 days. I hope that we do. Guys, appreciate you keeping it awesome in the chat. You are the reason that I make this media, so it's great to have you here live. Stressmaster BK says, I'm curious how the 600 3D cache will do with mining. Help me understand. Which device are we talking about here? But I mean, clarify for me. Because it's a good question, man. It's a really, really good question. Hey, the 6000 Ryzen. That's a really good question. Yeah, very likely the 6000 series Ryzen. I mean, they just announced the 7000. I don't know. I haven't taken a look at CPU mining there. But guys, in our hard drive mining portfolio, we got storage at the very top, still in the profit, but everything else is down so bad. Chia struggling to get back above the $100 mark, and plenty of people who were warned away from mining Chia by watching this channel have still expressed their gratitude at being able to put their investment funds towards something else that performed better for them. By the time it caught on, right? I mean, the major channels that you heard talking about it before in the mining space don't talk about it anymore, right? Especially the GPU mining channels, because they just, they discovered that GPUs were just better. They just were. Or other hardware mining profiles. CPU mining. So we got Raptorium still ahead. Ooh, still printing over $17,000 worth of profit instead of in exchange for the $1,000 entry that we did at the end of May. Looking really good there. Epic Cash also giving plenty of profit, over a 10x for the same $1,000 investment back towards the end of May. Everything else is kind of in the dumps. Wownero is down pretty bad, $10 or 10 cents and 10.9 cents. I was going to say 10 cents and 9/10, but that's weird. But 10.9 cents for Wownero. Moving on from our CPU mining portfolio, in the ASIC mining portfolio, we got GMT token, which I covered again recently, still doing pretty well. Like actually the highest profit of everything here. Number 2 is Nervos Network, but it's only 12% above the initial investment. If you're mining Nervos though, again, if you're mining any of these, you're less concerned about what your acquisition price was and a lot more concerned that you just got a really great subsidy from mining, right? So chase those efficiencies, make sure that you're a little bit more like drought resistant as prices are kind of low, right? These coins are getting thirsty, right? These bags, they feel heavy. But down, biggest loser, other side of the portfolio is Pirate Chain. It's below $1 at 92 cents. So maybe this is in value buy range for you. Maybe you like Pirate Chain and agree with its mission. But for me, I'm not going there right now. I think there's possibly more of a bloodletting ahead. Dogecoin at 15 cents, still kind of correcting. I think that I think even that is a very, very generous valuation for Dogecoin. Market cap at $20 billion, $20.5 billion though. Obviously, people are going to just hold on to this coin irrationally till the end of time. Don't bet against meme coins, I guess is the takeaway there. Like, I'm not betting against it, but it just doesn't offer very much, straight up. Just doesn't. Barry Merritt says CPU mining is useful for dual mining on your GPU rig. Absolutely. Yeah. Or if you have a workstation class device that you know needs massive parallelization and a massive thread count, then maybe during your off hours, right, the other 16 hours out of the day, maybe you can mine on that. That's another possibility. Or if you have a render farm, right, a small micro render farm with render licenses locally across multiple machines. So moving on from guys, and I'm seeing the like count. Thank you so much for hitting that thumbs up. I know that right now you're seeing I'm seeing kind of a weird number, but we do get people who roll into the chat and then roll out. Please don't let the like count get out of balance. Like, if you haven't liked the video, please do. It makes a big difference, you clicking all those buttons. But that's our ASIC mining portfolio in a nutshell, guys. Grin is still somewhere in the middle. I just don't. Anybody down with Grin? Anybody? Tell me what you're doing with Grin right now. It just lost my attention a while ago. FPGA mining, Cadena is still the name of the game. 0x Bitcoin is still doing its thing, but the moves, the little swings are much lower. It's been on a downward channel over the last 3 days, last 3-4 days, but so is everything else. And I don't think that's really where the opportunity comes in for 0x Bitcoin. We talk about it being more of a swing trade opportunity and being able to work daily about that. Drinking Milk says, I wonder about big core Xeons. Yeah, you know what? It's a great question. I've got a couple of servers here with Xeons in them, and they have a phenomenal hash rate per dollar per watt profile. Some of the old stuff, right? The E5 2600 series or 2000 series Xeons, they work great, and they can go into dual socket motherboards. So like if you're talking about the latest ones, maybe, but I'm just going to say some of the legacy Xeon processors are still some of the best for mining, and they're not slouches when it comes to content creation either, especially if you're working with content creation suites that are much more GPU focused. If they're running a really good implementation of OpenCL, or if they're running a really good sort of sidecar implementation of CUDA, then I mean, you've got all the processing power you need to offset into your GPUs for content creation if you need. And then again, using that example from before, you just have this phenomenal core density and processing density in one server machine without it being super power hungry. Like they're pretty awesome. Are they really good for the desktop? No. And you've seen videos across YouTube where people try to take these and put them into like, what is it? Is it the socket 2011, I think, for those older Xeons, and it's like, not very efficient for typical desktop use, but for workstation use, for 24/7 sort of data center style use, they're not bad, especially if you know you're going to mine on them, like multiple, like the majority of the day anyway. So Barry Merritt says Ryzen 9s are more efficient for Raptorium than Xeons. Hey, I believe that. And Drinking Milk corrects me. Thank you for that. Says it's the X99 chipset that you use. Yeah, the X99 chipset. I think also the is it the X79? I think a slightly older chipset that allows you to use DDR3 with those. If I'm remembering correctly, the E5 allows, I think it had support for both DDR3 and DDR4. So Stressmaster BK says, just make sure you undervolt them, and that helps. Awesome, man. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, guys. Yeah, I think there's plenty of opportunity in the legacy hardware. I got panned for that when I think the Ryzen 3000 series launched, and I just said openly, I was like, oh yeah, the Xeon E5 series is pretty good. And a bunch of people in the mining community are like, you're an idiot. You got to buy new stuff. It's more efficient. I'm like, dude, No, shiny isn't always better. I'm going to say it again, twice in the same episode. Uncle Seth is going to tell the youngins, shiny and new isn't always better. It's just not. And even when you, like, on paper, you're like, oh, look at the IPC improvements and look at the new die. Look at the chiplet design. Look at what we've done by way of our memory controller. Cool story, bro. You're looking at hashing algorithms. And then some other software that once you get past all these other layers of implementation, you're looking at software that needs to be optimized for that architecture anyway. That could take another 2 years. Just, calm yourself. Anyway, yeah, Stressmaster BK says, yeah, they pay thousands for a 5% gain. Right? Right. Whereas you can look at some of this like older hardware and yeah, it's a little bit less efficient. It might be like 5 or 10% less efficient, but guess how much more discounted it is? It's like 80% discount. Why wouldn't you pay 80% less for an only 10% performance hit? Oh, it's like herding cats, guys. It's like herding cats. Thank you for understanding. But anyway, this is our FPGA mining portfolio here. Proof of stake smart contracts. Hey, we got Terra in that number 1 spot, but Fantom not far behind it. I do think that was a really good prognosis from Alex Kruger. 7 days certainly showing Fantom coming way up. And again, retail looking at unit bias at, oh, it's under $5. I can afford a few of those. Here we go again, says big hugs from the UK Mine Your Biz. Would solar energy work out as an efficient way to mine? XOXO. Well, here we go again. Thank you for the hugs and kisses. I appreciate that because that's what XOXO means. Both hugs and kisses. And virtually I received that in a very platonic way because I love your face. Platonically. Yes, solar mining works. But here's the rub. With solar mining, at least half the day, if not considerably more than half the day, based on solar angles and the time of the year, right? So more than half the day, you're not going to have enough sun to run it. So you might want to have something along the lines of either a battery or a capacitor grid, right? Your own little power wall, right? You can run higher size, like bigger size caps in series and learn how to build that. Jehu Garcia is a phenomenal resource here on YouTube. Gives away his education for free on how to take old laptop batteries, salvage them from the junkyard, and turn them into your own Tesla-style Powerwall. The guy is a national treasure. So look up Jehu Garcia, Jehu Garcia. And so you would need to have some kind of a capacitance system, some kind of a battery system, if you're using solar full-time. Like if you wanted to be fully off-grid. But if you just wanted to subsidize the cost of your mining, yeah, solar works. It'll cut the bill a little bit over time. And if you live in places like the United States, there are even federal subsidies where the government literally pays you to have those photovoltaic panels installed. So for mining, it's a win-win in places like that where there are tax incentives. Teaspoon Miner jumps into the chat, says, yo, Mind Your Biz, what's up, man? Thanks for being here, Teaspoon Miner. We're talking a little bit about solar. I think the holy grail would be micro nuclear reactors. Yeah, I said it on a live stream. I want to have a nuclear reactor at my own house. That's what I want. But, barring that, because I don't see it happening anytime soon, hydroelectric is the most preferred for most people because it's easiest. And then it's easiest to get consistent power if you're next to a moving water source. Then after that, if you know that you're in a place that gets consistent breeze, then wind energy to help complement something like solar during the day. But then, yeah. Anyway, Drinking Milk says, yellow cake for all. I love that, man. We got to put that on a t-shirt. That's great. Gosh. We have way too much fun with the meme of yellow cake for all. That's great. And then Barry Merritt says, yep, molten salt reactors. Totally. Teaspoon Miner says, dude, if I didn't live in an HOA, I would jump all over solar. Seriously, I want it. Yeah, right. Solar shingles can't come fast enough for people in HOAs, unfortunately, because you have to mask it into whatever they say is the thing. But I mean, Depending on the styling guidelines, you might be out of luck there too, because it could be that when, solar shingles become a reality, that the styles just don't catch up fast enough. Sorry, man, that's a bummer. But yeah, guys, this is our smart contract lineup. Solana, I mean, I don't want to talk down Solana. It does have headroom to grow, but does it have headroom for a 10x? I don't know. I don't view Solana as the Ethereum killer. It's not. It hasn't to date. Yeah. Ultra Spark says, while you're crying, I'm buying. Heck yeah. Dynamite Mining chimes in and says HOAs are evil. That's true. Guys, unincorporate all the things. Decentralize all the things. Really, if you can buy off-grid, if you can live off-grid, get as far off-grid as you can, including, right, incorporated cities. There, I said it. I want us all to have our own little micronuclear reactors on our own homesteads. Wouldn't that just be I mean, it'd be the dream, right? Who wants to see your neighbors anyway? Like, gosh. They, whatever. They want to shake hands and, ask you how your day went and talk to you about sports and stuff. Ugh. I kid. I like people. I do. But I like the idea of living off grid too. So anyway, Cosmos is way up there as well. Told you not to ignore it. Oh, what did it do? We've been talking about it since the mid-20s. Yep, it went and melted faces. It's over $40 now. Market cap at over 12 billion. I think it's got headroom to 4x that. Look at the current market cap of Solana. Imagine Cosmos kind of being shoved into that same market cap. I think that could work. Ultra Spark 1 says, I love making people. Bro, me too. My wife and I were pros at it. It's great. I think everybody should do it. Maybe not everybody. There are some people I think maybe shouldn't make people, but whatever. So, yeah. Scrolling on the list, guys. Wax also still out there melting faces, doing great, but it is on a downtrend as of late. Shout out to the bro, Ken Bosak, who is very heavily into the Wax ecosystem because he's a value creator there. That's the way to do it, guys. If it's at all possible. Dynamite Mining says, I prefer to practice. I agree too. Practicing at making people is pretty great. My wife and I used to say that, call that baking cookies. Not putting buns in the oven, but cookies. Just try cookies. Have you tried cookies? Do you know the oven works? Try it. But scrolling on down the list, guys, biggest loser is still Internet Computer as well as Neo. Wah, 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 wah. If you tell me you're a neo-maximalist, I will probably just stare at you because I don't know what that means. Yeah, Dynamite Mining has 3. Hey, you're also in the pro leagues. Look at this guy. Dynamite Mining. Pro league parent up in her. Ultra Spark is asking about a project, I think. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Going over to the junk drawer. Let's take a look at our portfolios in the junk drawer. See what we got. Oh my gosh, guys, I appreciate your likes continuing to come in. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. And if you are not subscribed, if you're a lurker, thanks for making the button explode. And then double checking your subscription preferences. Because sometimes the button gets unclicked. The bell gets unclicked by YouTube. I'm hearing that recently. And you know what? That's just not right. You should probably check it out. But in the junk drawer, we've got a 24-hour change that's to the downside, but our total P&L is still way up since we made this portfolio. If you invested in meme coins across an entire basket like this, even with a buttload of losers like this, losers, the worst of the losers, if you were able to put $1,000 or, I mean, by percentage, doesn't matter, even just put $1 into all of these cryptos, this is what it would look like. Well, everything below Ampleforth would be in the red by a huge margin, right? See that DYDX 30 or 40% down, Serum 40% down, Uniswap 43% down, stuff that has strong fundamentals, right? Even QuickSwap, which I mentioned before, makes up a massive part of the TVL of Polygon right now and has super strong fundamentals. It's down pretty bad since its all-time high, and end of May. But if you just put a little bit, see that, just a little bit, the relative percentage would still be the same. You'd still be up over 6,700%. Now, if you had weighted that into Saitama Inu by a lot, well, you'd be up by a lot. It's still over $1.5 million in profit, right? That's just the profit margin from a $1,000 investment at the end of May. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what this side has done, right? The speculative side during this phase of the market. Guys, gonna disclaim you again, this episode, you got to take profits. You just do. I mean, you got to take profits. And if anything, this most recent market shift has shown that, right? You got to be careful. Have a strategy anyway. Something that you decide is your moon, where you'll divest either a little bit, maybe just your initial back out, or a lot. Maybe you take a lot out of it and you only keep in something equivalent to your initial plus a multiple, if you're so lucky to have that much performance from one of these assets. Something like Saitama Inu, I know there are a lot of people who are saying, diamond hands, Saitama is going to go even higher. And I just can't help but think, bro, if I only put $1,000 into a coin like this, and I knew I could walk away with 1.5 million, if I knew that the network was good for it, and I could at least average out of that position so that I didn't have massive price impact and, make the market, like dump the market, would I do it? Yeah, probably. I probably would. I'd probably put it into stables, and then I'd probably wait until I saw value buy opportunities for Bitcoin, and I would put it into a Bitcoin savings, and I would go live happy on the interest of that Bitcoin savings for the rest of my natural life. Is my logic flawed? Tell me, please do. Give me a sanity check here, guys. Is that way off? Would that be totally wrong? Because I see this, and I can't help but think, like, why would you leave $1.5 million in a meme coin that could just as easily, literally, get rug pulled or the smart contract could break? Right? Am I crazy? I'm crazy. I know I got to be crazy, right? Why would I put that $1.5 million into Bitcoin? Yeah. Anyway, Latrell, take profits and buy yourself a pinball machine. Oh my gosh. Dude, when you're talking, if what you mean is the maintenance cost for a pinball machine, yeah, you're probably right about $1.5 million. Dynamite Mining chimes in, cash the F out. Mono Miner says, good luck. Drinking milk? Nah. Drinking milk is a diamond hand Saitama Inu holder. I knew we'd have at least one, and I knew it's drinking milk. You're the one, aren't you? You're the one that put $1,000 into Saitama Inu. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the millionaire next door is here in chat. Has a name. It's called Drinking Milk. And yes, they will take your questions now. All right, so jumping back out, guys. Seriously, it's hilarious when we see the side of the portfolio. I get a lot of people trying to get me to say things about Saitama Inu during the live streams or during videos, like, "Hey, you should give me your opinion on Saitama Inu. Is it pretty great?" I'm like, dude, by way of fundamentals, who knows? It's a meme coin. Who knows? I'm not going to comment on fundamentals here. This side of the portfolio, the junk drawer, this is all stuff that most of the market views as either high risk, high reward, or it falls into that category of governance tokens or DeFi yield tokens that are specific to certain smart contract layers. Things like Pancake, right, or Cake over on BSC. Things like Quick over on QuickSwap or Polygon. Things like Sushi or XSushi. Things like Bone, right, for these other networks. And then things like Hex, right, that are supposed to be really strong pumpamental projects that most people would have traditionally viewed as risky. That's what this whole portfolio is. And it's not a perfect match, all these different projects in the same portfolio, but I do think that it is appropriate to just let people know that it's okay to look at speculative and risky stuff, right? But just have that framing in your mind. High risk, high reward. There's a very strong potential for either rug pull or loss with a portfolio like this. We just happen to be winning today, right? Or this month or this cycle, right? Like we're doing pretty well in this portfolio on paper. So just throwing it out there. Ultra Spark says, how about this project creating smart contracts through staking? Yeah. Drinking Milk says, take your profit while it's good. Yep. I agree. Guys. Do take profits on the way up. But in a portfolio like this as well, if you have this kind of like this total P&L, you can afford to cut losers as you see fit. You may be able to look through here and see, okay, well, refinance, maybe I believe in that, but maybe I don't believe in Kishu Inu. Cool, I'm cutting Kishu Inu. Or DeFi Yield Protocol, I think they've got strong fundamentals, or I like the team or something. Cool, I can work with that. Or Thorchain, look, it's 7 day, it bounced off of its support level again over 7 days. So I like what happened over the last 7 days. I'm just going to monitor this for a while. But then you can look at others and just be dispassionate and say, look, you're a loser. I don't like you, rug zombie. Like, what is a rug zombie? I don't even know what the market cap is anymore. But all these E-News as well, Kishu and Akita, you then have that ability to just say, whatever, cutting losses. I don't care that I lost money on this trade. I'm going to flip it into something that is a marginal to maybe outsized winner. And then, just, go live happy. Double down on whatever, your Shiba Inu position or your Hex position or your Doge Elon Mars position, something else that you think is going to recover and has a real shot at doing well in the future. So anyway, without giving advice, again, guys, give me a temperature test here. Appreciate that. Pocket Change already wearing the moderation hat, wielding the ban hammer with style. Morning, Dynamite Mining are saying thanks for keeping it clean. Mono Miner says apparently there's also baby Saitama Inu. I need to get an augmented reality filter so I can just like transform into Pepe, like, because the feels. Baby Saitama Inu. This is already a thing. I mean, it doesn't take long, right? These smart contracts are not hard to implement. He says while still streaming instead of just making a bunch of these himself. All right. What do we got here? I feel like we need to look at this. Baby Saitama. Yup, there it is. Because why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it exist? Woo! Doesn't even show a value. Fully diluted market cap of $22 million? How? What? How did we let this happen? Universe. It's on a centralized exchange, xt.com, but also obviously Uniswap. Dang, and the depth. It's actually got some depth. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Barry Merritt, baby Yoda coin. Dynamite Mining says his mouth is typically a problem. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. All right. What is it? Got to come up with something. Miners Anonymous. There you go. MA. You gone to your MA meeting? Half the miners just swear like sailors. The other half the miners like either are sailors or only hang out with sailors. So I guess, hashtag goals, hashtag excuses is more like it. But yeah, baby Saitama, let's go ahead and throw this in the junk drawer because why not? It exists. So we kind of have to have it, right? I saw it and now you have to. Baby Saitama, get in our portfolio. Okay, we're opening up a new tab for baby Saitama. And we're going to add a transaction here for baby Saitama. This is how we do it, guys. We open up a window that just shows the asset, and we're going to go back to 5/26 of 2021. Hit enter because otherwise Chromium-based browsers kind of struggle with that. And yep, it brings us back to the beginning of time. Baby Saitama was born on August 9th of 2021. That's the earliest acquisition price we could have gotten it. Would we have gotten it here on the day zero? I don't think so. I think we probably would have bought it somewhere here as it's recovering, thinking to ourselves, up only, up forever with baby Saitama. We're going to do great with this new coin. But we'd be wrong. Let's take a look at the chart. Okay, back here on the 21st of August, it began to correct again and find bottom support. And down here, this is probably somewhere we would have liked to buy it, but we wouldn't have bought it at this point. Because why? Because we're retail idiots, and we wouldn't have known to wait just a little longer to get the best price. Okay, we go back in time, and we buy the top. Because we're retail. Sell the bottom, but buy the top. Because we're retail and we don't know any better. Okay. For real, though. What is that? How many zeros is that with a 45 at the end? I can't even tell how many zeros that is, guys. It's so deep. Such a low price. Realistic, though, again, using retail logic, most of us would have only seen this on our radar. See that trading volume down there? Would have been on a day like this. Boop, little spike like that. We would have said, oh, it's a thing. This exists. Would have bought it then. Or here. And then it pulled back, right? We would have gotten dumped on. Or here. See that volume again? We would have bought it somewhere here and then gotten dumped on. That's just how it works, guys. Golden Wolf, Highlander. Oh my gosh. I am Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. There can be only one. Okay. So yeah, we would not have bought it on a pullback, just guaranteed. Let's pretend like we bought it day one on its drop at 116. How many zeros is that? Gosh darn it. I need my glasses. Guys, I'm actually going to jump off screen so I can count, like physically count this on screen. That's 9 zeros, 116. That's okay. We got steep discounts going here. Alrighty. No, 2, 3, 6. Okay. Oh, cool. 116. Hey, not bad. All right. Proof of Linux. Pulling up. Nope. KCalc. Dude, Dynamite Mining says the Queen song for the show was fire. Yes, it was. You know, when I was a kid and I watched that show, or whatever, teenager watched that show, I was like, man, I wasn't like super exposed to Queen. Is that bad? I was a very sheltered kid in some ways. Listen to other stuff that I totally shouldn't have because of, you know, radio play in Southern California. But yeah, I was not super exposed to Queen. I was like, yeah, man, this slaps. Like trying to figure out who wrote it recently. No clue, right? Totally clueless. Anyway, you're right. The man's not wrong. Okay, so let's put in $1,000, make you want to holla. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 116. Oof. We broke it. And I don't know how to fix it. Oh, gosh, I don't know how to get it to show me a different notation. Stop it. Yeah, I'm kind of bad with this, guys. Numeral system mode. Hey, this is probably not right. So I'm displaying my ignorance on live stream for all to see. You're welcome. I'm here all week. Hey, what? What? And no. That's so close, but not correct. Dude, okay. What is it about? Horseshoes and hand grenades? Yeah, we're there. We're firmly in horseshoe hand grenade territory. Whatever. It's picking up some of my notations. So now we dial it in. No. Fine. Okay. We're just gonna have to settle for $999.92. Okay. So go back in time. Nope, that's not right. Back to, what am I doing here? August 9th. And we're going to say that it's still 5:30 p.m. on that day, because I think that was when it launched. Luttrell, diamond hands. I'm still not selling baby Inu. Cool. And put that in the portfolio. That should show that we're in the money with that particular one. But is it the top 5? Nope. Is it ahead of X? Nope. All right, what do we got here? Baby Saitama, though, it's in the money. You would have nearly doubled your money if you had jumped on Baby Saitama after you had some Saitama and maybe divested some profits to go into something else. But you wouldn't have outperformed Saitama Inu. It's meme coin logic, guys. I can't pretend to understand it. I really don't know. Barry Merritt says Excel. Hey, good point. I probably should start using Excel for this stuff instead of just a calculator. Very, very good point. Milo says 20% down on our portfolio. Last dump didn't move to stablecoin. Was waiting for one more pump. Man, I am sorry. Rip Milos's profits. That's a bummer. Yeah. Pocket says, you're officially my dad. Mind Your Biz says, almost doesn't count. Only in horseshoes and hand grenades. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, here's the thing. I'm actually like, whatever. You ever see that movie Forever Young, or was that movie Captain America, where it's frozen in ice? I'm actually just a well-preserved boomer. You can't tell, but I'm just a boomer in disguise. So, guys, with that, let's take a look at one last side of our portfolio, which is, yeah, no bone. No, we don't have any more portfolio stuff to take a look at. But I did see some comments coming in. People wanted to take a look at some other coins live. I don't know that we have time for that today, but I do appreciate you being here with me. Your chat is on screen, guys, and you are the real MVP. Community is the reason. Guys, you are the reason that I make this media. Thank you for being here to the end of the video. Thank you for hanging out, for giving me great feedback. Going to take a look at Elliott Wave theory just to see if I can get a little more up to speed on that. Look out for that book review and the platform review. The Wall Street era is over. I don't have a link to that down in the description of this video, but I will add it. So moving forward, I can strongly recommend that book. It's been a pleasure to read so far, but we'll go over that in the near future. So make sure you have notifications turned on. Otherwise, you will miss it. I know I've done that a lot during this live stream, but YouTube seems to reward me for doing it, and it seems to punish me for not doing it, not reminding people. So thanks for playing the game with me, guys. Really, you are the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Be sure to check out mineyour.biz, where you can sign up for our email newsletter, where we're still ramping up content, but you will occasionally receive specials for flash sales and all kinds of other deals that we have going on the site. You can also check out our services page, where we offer consulting to projects that need it. You can pick up the Freedom Phone, which respects your privacy. You can pay for it in crypto and have it shipped to you anonymously, as well as getting merchandise that also is paid for with crypto. That's right, we practice what we preach, including, well, a Flux swag page. That's right. It's a dedicated page just for the team over at Flux Network, because we love them that much. Thanks for watching to the end. Thanks for being subscribed. You know I love your face. Be sure to stay private and mind your biz.